Coming up on No Pulp, there's a whole lot going on in the world of college baseball and softball, and we're here to break it all down.
And I'm meeting Peter Elliott in the juicer. He's going to be put in a pickle. You'll see what I mean in a little bit.
And we're talking a little bit of lax as well. All that, our final words, plays of the week, and more. It's No Pulp, and it starts right now.
Sonny DeShero from Auburn. The freshman never win. The freshman never win championships.
Sharon May, you are an absolute square.
Cleveland the catch. Good if it goes. He hit it!
Wow, it is getting serious.
Frankly, I'm pretty embarrassed.
Bang!
All day life.
Welcome to No Pulp. That's Spencer Pierce, and I'm Ethan Frank. Today we're debating the biggest headlines in college baseball and softball, some juicy lacrosse storylines, and of course, our plays of the week and final words. So Spencer, let's get right into it, starting in the conference where it just means more, even on the diamond, but even more to number 5 Vanderbilt, who swept Kentucky out of Nashville and out of the top 25, despite being the 5th-ranked team in the country. The Commodores are only the 4th highest-ranked team in the conference, behind LSU, South Carolina, and Florida. So Spencer, how does Vandy compare to its SEC counterparts, and what do we make of Kentucky's struggles?
Well, you might want to keep that fact in mind about the teams and the rankings. That's a hint, hint, wink, wink. Vanderbilt looks unstoppable. It's a Tim Corbin coach team, so you know that they're going to be well prepared for these matchups. They got timely hitting. They got players all around the diamond. That's really what you need. And guess what? They have Kentucky's number. 13 of the last 15 matchups have had Vanderbilt written all over it, and these are the perfect types of wins to go into the tournament in postseason play. I got one more thing for you. What's better than to sweep your rival on a walk-off? There's not much.
You know who hit that
baseball.
walk-off? My guy, Alan Espinal.
Everyone's your guy.
Everyone
That
is
doesn't
my
seem
guy.
fair.
But you look at this Vanderbilt team, they can win games in multiple different ways. You blow out Kentucky by 6 runs one day, and then you walk them off the next day. So it's the ability to win close games, but also extend your lead against teams. It's like you're putting a little styrofoam in between yourself and some other teams. Like you're stuffing a box.
Right.
That's what Vanderbilt is doing. Stuffing
Packing
other
peanuts.
teams in a box right now. Packing peanuts.
Packing
Exactly.
peanuts, packing
That's
peanuts.
a good way of looking at it. But you look at the talent, and especially on the pitching side of things, getting healthy there is really, really important. Getting guys like Hunter Owen and Grayson Moore back. Bryce Cunningham didn't pitch this weekend, but Tim Corbin said he's day-to-day, might come back next week. So we'll see. But as healthy as this pitching staff gets, it's in really, really good shape.
Yeah, and I think that's what we've talked about before is pitching gets you to the College Baseball World Series. Vanderbilt, one of the best pitching staffs in the country. Well, it's nice to talk about 2 of the best teams in the best conference in baseball, but let's give a little love to the mid-majors. Coastal Carolina, Campbell, East Carolina, and Dallas Baptist are all in the top 20. But Ethan, do you think the road ends for any of these teams anytime soon?
How about the Carolinas representing 3 out of those 4 teams? Maybe there's something brewing down in the Carolinas, but I really like this Campbell team. A really deep squad. Had a first-round pick in the MLB draft in Zach Neto last year. And how about a guy in Ty Cummings? He's a versatile pitcher.
Another
one of my guys.
Talking about Lars Tiffany soon?
I got a lot of guys, but you look at this Campbell squad, and this is a school, a university that maybe you don't hear much about, but the Campbells are a very deep squad. 16-2 in conference, just absolutely dominating. Beat East Carolina this season, split a 2-game series with Coastal Carolina, and played Duke twice. Lost both times, but are improving both times they play them. Have a big test against North Carolina this week. That will prove where this team is at in the landscape of college baseball.
And the perfect type of matchup to get yourself ready for the postseason, as we've talked about. I like Coastal Carolina. They have that championship DNA, as we know. They won the championship just a few years ago. 11th in the nation in team batting average. I know batting average is becoming sort of an outdated stat at this point in the game, but it's undeniable. And it's not like they've had an easy non-conference schedule. You mentioned they split the series against Campbell. They beat Wake Forest, who we're going to talk about in a little bit, unstoppable Wake Forest, and they won the series versus Southern Mississippi, who's also another ranked team. So there's a team that I don't love here. We're going to get to that later. We're teasing a lot.
Wow.
We are teasing a lot to get
a
later.
lot of foreshadowing going on here on No Pulp right now.
I like Coastal Carolina, and their football field's kind of cool, too.
Well, May 16th is a date I have circled on my calendar. East Carolina and Campbell going at it. That's not your birthday. I know when your birthday is. That's not your birthday. All right. Let's go from baseball to softball and stick within the SEC. Oklahoma gets all the headlines, and rightfully so. But the Southeastern Conference isn't too shabby either, with 9 teams in the top 25. Spencer, who do you like in the SEC and potentially to compete against the big bad Sooners?
Good old Rocky Top. Woo! Rocky Top, Tennessee. It's Tennessee.
Again.
It's the Vols. We got Liv Webb cheering in the background here. It's the Vols. Let me tell you what. No one's beaten Oklahoma, and I stand by that. No one's beating Oklahoma at all in the season. No, Oklahoma is a dynasty. You can put that in your pipe and
I don't know
smoke
about
it.
dynasty.
Tennessee has a 1.39 team ERA. They are unstoppable. We've talked about it already this show. Pitching is what gets you the gold. Third best in the country pitching staff. By the way, Oklahoma's team ERA 0.89, so sub 1 on the team. Ashley Rogers, the face of that pitching staff, 0.8 ERA for just her, and the quote-unquote worst pitcher on that staff has a 2.3 ERA. That's going to get you the big bucks.
Yeah, but a sleeper team I like. You can't argue with Tennessee. A sleeper team I like.
Please don't.
How about Alabama? Just took 2 out of 3 from LSU and swept the Tigers earlier this season. Beat a top 10 Florida State team in February, a top 10 Texas team in March, a very competitive with Tennessee and Knoxville in late March. They're battle tested. They have the talent, not showing up as much in the standings, but I think Alabama is potentially a team that could make a run in the SEC against Tennessee. And I don't know about upsetting the Sooners. That's a tall task.
It's not happening.
But I like the Crimson Tide to potentially make a run.
All right, well, upsetting the Sooners at this point would be like upsetting the Boston Bruins in 7 games, especially with a 3-1 comeback. And it's not just the SEC and the Titans at the top of the Big 12 that are wreaking havoc over college softball, but the ACC has slightly claimed its stake as debatably the best conference in the sport. Who are we kidding? Florida State and Clemson are the top dogs right now, but will that be the case at the end of the tournament?
Well, you know Clemson has Valerie Cagle, and I am as big a
goodness.
fan
I
of
know you
Valerie
like her.
Cagle as I come. But don't sleep on Duke. That's a top 10 team as well. Florida State beat Duke 2 out of 3 times in March, but this is an FSU team that even though they beat Duke, I still like the Blue Devils to potentially compete in this conference. You look at the standings there.
Let's look.
Basically the same overall record as a team like Florida State, just 1 less loss. Very comparable with Clemson and the Seminoles. So I know that Florida State is the clear class of the league, but don't sleep on Duke there in the number 3 spot.
Oh, I'm sleeping. I'm taking my
Why
melatonin
don't you-
gummies and I'm passing
You
out.
want me to go get you some pajamas and a pillow?
And an eye mask. Little do people know I'm sleeping with the eye mask. I got Florida State 8 days of the week. Valerie Cagle is epic. Don't get me wrong there. Shohei Cagle is what we're calling her around the station.
Shohei Cagle.
That's what they're calling her. But you can only ride someone's success so much, right? Until the wheels start to fall off. FSU has a lot of veterans on their team, and you know how I know that? When I was the CitrusTV softball beat reporter just 2 years ago, shout out Adam Gotkin. There were a lot of names on that team that when you look up the roster, guess what? They're all there.
They're still
and
there?
the starting lineup, except for 1 player, hits over 300, and that is a recipe for success. Especially, in the ACC. That's,
The Seminoles, apparently the class of the ACC.
You said it.
All right. That'll do it for the time being, but Spencer, I hope you keep those juices flowing
they're
because
flying.
there's another challenger entering the arena. The Juicer is next on No Pulp.
With the groove, show proof, keep it smooth as I bust the move. Ayo, step it swiftly with the heat up. If not, just stop, pop a squat, put your feet up. Read up, pay attention, listen to the melody. Remember what you heard, got my words to the spell of me. Top notch, got them all jumping like hopscotch. A jumping rope like double dutch in the air. Show me what you got, keep it hot like the heater. You thinking you a treat cause you're sweet, but I'm sweeter. Leader of the pack cause they all stay behind me. I'm old school, you don't skip tracks, you rewind me. Find me, working on my craft.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it,
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got, or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Welcome back to No Pulp, and welcome to the Juicer. Peter Elliott is here to join us. Welcome.
It's so good to be here. My debut. I feel nervous, like I'm in the big show.
Well, do you know how this works?
I do. I've seen it a couple times on YouTube, but I've never been here. This is big.
All right, so now that everyone's under control, let's roll. Let's start back in the world of college baseball. Spencer, which conference gets the most teams to the College World Series?
Well, first of all, I'd like to welcome you
Please.
here as an 0-3 juicer guy.
Soon to be 0-4. 0-4.
That's a little crazy. It is my last show here at the station. I got the SEC. Let's answer your question.
Don't play the victim card here.
Oh, I'm not playing anything other than the SEC getting the most teams. As it stands right now, 7 teams in the top 25, 3 teams that are currently getting votes. So that's 10 teams that will probably be in the tournament. Statistically, listen, I'm not good at math. That's why I'm in communications. That's why I'm taking the SEC 10 out of the 64. It's undeniable. LSU has been the best team here, but you go down the rankings, boom, 3, 4, 5, 7, all SECers, and like Ethan and I talked about a few shows ago, I know you were watching, iron sharpens iron, and what better way to do that than to play in the SEC tournament? I'm sorry for touching you if that was a little too
Yeah, that
far.
was a little long, but
Okay, I hope I don't
Peter,
get-
go ahead, your rebuttal.
I was just bored listening to that because Spencer, this is why you haven't
Do you
won
want
in the
my
juicer yet. Please, because I mean, you play it safe. You play it too safe with the SEC. That's the chalk pick, and you know
I like
what?
chalk.
I'm going with the exciting pick, the hottest conference in college baseball. That's the ACC. How about you talked about it earlier in the episode? Wake Forest, unbelievable. They have a torrid pitching staff, number 2 in the country, and they've lost just 1 game at home all season long. 24 wins at home. And third baseman Brock Wilken. I mean, that guy hits Brockets, 19 bombs on the year.
Did you come up with that yourself?
I did.
That should get redacted.
Yes. No, that's staying in the show. But how about that pitching staff? Rhett Lauder, Josh Hartle. They have an ERA combined on this team that's 1 run lower than any other team in college baseball. Pretty
Anyone
good.
else in that
conference? Yeah.
or
How
just
about
one
Duke?
more?
How about Duke, the hottest team in college baseball? After a rocky start to the season, they've won 15 games since April Fool's Day. They've lost just 3 big wins over ranked opponents.
This guy's top bringing back
9 of
jokes.
those wins are against ranked opponents. I really think between Wake Forest, Duke, and Virginia, this is a great conference.
All right,
named
I'll
one team.
stop you there, and I thought you had a really convincing argument, Peter, but you can't argue with the SEC. It just means more.
Guy named one team the entire
Number
time.
1, number 3, number 4, number 5, Spencer.
Pretty good.
You get point number 1. All right, Peter, we'll go to you on question number 2. From the Men's College World Series to the Women's College World Series, which conference has put in numbers in Oklahoma City?
Give me the Big 12, which has the reigning national champion, Oklahoma.
And I'm playing it safe, right?
Yeah. Well, because, I mean, hey, they're the best team. They
respect
have
it.
been
I
for the
respect
last
it.
3 years. It's a top-heavy conference. Aside from that Oklahoma team, I mean, Texas, Oklahoma State, and Baylor, all top 20 teams. It's almost unfair, first of all, how good this Oklahoma team is. And the fact that they're playing in Oklahoma City, that's just a home tournament for them. Again, Oklahoma State, the in-state rival of the Sooners, number 8 in team batting average, number 6 in on-base percentage. How about Rachel Becker hitting .462 on the year? But they're 41-9. That's pretty darn good.
It is.
Because they would be even better, but if they hadn't lost to Texas, another Big 12 team, they're also just as strong. They've got a lot of young talent on that team, but they don't play like they're a young team. I think between those 3 teams and Baylor, the Big 12 is going to have a big presence in this College World Series.
This guy knows what he's talking about. I'll give you that. But if we're going to do the whole shtick and name a conference and then just one team at a time, let's talk about a conference that's top to bottom, except for one team at the bottom. That's Washington. Hello. The Pac-12 has been
the
insanely...
Conference of Champions.
Well, that's what they're calling them, but no one really believes that other than Bill Walton. The Pac-12 been insanely balanced all year, just like LSU on the men's side. That kind of reminds me of UCLA here on the women's side. The only problem is that you have Oklahoma in front of them, obviously. You have to love what they've done this year, a top-to-bottom league, like I said. And only 2 teams in the College Softball World Series last year. So you better believe that they're jonesing to get right back there this year.
All right. Well, as someone who, there's not someone who loves the Pac-12 more than me, than maybe Matt Fairfax, but I have to side with the Big 12. Peter, your Pigeon's left wing here, a little,
Get raised.
Yes, raise that up there. All right, let's move on to number 3. It's 1-1, and now the nerves are picking up. We're getting a little anxious.
I'm sweating.
And back to baseball. Spencer, who do you like to potentially be upset early on the baseball side of things?
Well, it's East Carolina. And let me tell you a little bit about the Pirates. You know, you might be saying they're not a huge baseball name. No, they are. 7 regional championships, 3 since 2019. Definitely a big name. The name of the game right now in this point of the season, play your best ball. Not what they're doing. The tournament's around the corner. They have played 6 games, and guess how many of those they won? They won 1 of them. Not good baseball to be playing going into the tournament. Of those 4 losses, of the 6 that I just mentioned, they gave up 7+ runs. and a lot of those were 8 runs. So not a great start here, Peter.
No, it's certainly not the case. And you guys talked earlier on in the show about the mid-major madness in college baseball this year. Well, I think there's going to be some mid-major sadness in college baseball. I'm sticking in the Carolinas. Finally, we agree. 2 teams from the Carolinas.
Good stuff. You better not say Coastal Carolina. Hope you're watching A Block.
I'm talking the Chanticleers. I know you hyped them up a little bit, but I think a little bit too much. I think this team is just a little too inconsistent. You know, they lost recently 11-1 to that outstanding Wake Forest team, but a day before that, a 15-7 loss to Southern Mississippi. I think they just were good in 2016 when they won the national championship, but this team isn't as good.
If they won the national championship.
They sure did, but this is a mid-major team, and you really got to be an outstanding team. And I think I worry when they play on the road because they got to play in that Mickey Mouse ballpark they have with those.
Oh my goodness!
That is an audacious claim.
In Conway, South Carolina. I don't know. I think if they're not playing at Vrooman Field, I'm worried about the Chanticleers. I think they will not be in Omaha this year.
This guy's talking Mickey Mouse. He's looking a little goofy, though.
It's hard to argue with the play of recent form, and Coastal Carolina does have a winning record against ranked opponents, which means I'm going to go with the right pigeon wing, and let's go with Spencer. It's 2-1. We got one question left, worth 2 points.
I'm a little nervous.
And we're going to go back to softball. Peter, I'm going to allow you the opportunity to go first. Same question as before, just with softball. Who's getting upset?
Well, when you were talking up the Pac-12 early, I was chomping at the bit to talk about this team. Stanford, I need to expose this team. They're a fraudulent top 10 team, number 8 in the country, but they do not play it. They are a one-trick pony. Their best pitcher, Nigeri Kanadi, she has a .34 ERA. That's pretty good. That's all they've got, though. That is all they've got. No run support for that team.
Pretty top-heavy team.
They are not in the top 50 in batting average. They're not top-heavy in runs. They are not in the top 100 for team on base percentage. Not in the top 85 for scoring offense. They're not able to keep pace with these top teams. They haven't scored more than 5 runs against a ranked opponent. They've done that just once this year.
Also not good.
And in those games, Stanford is 6-10 against ranked opponents, and then 6 of those losses have come in the last month. This is a fraudulent Stanford team. The tree is getting chopped down this May. You will not see Stanford in Oklahoma City.
Happy Arbor Day, says Peter
got a
Elliott. And if
chainsaw
you're
under
an
here?
environmental science major, don't watch this show. Listen, it's the Arkansas Razorbacks, and I got 2 reasons and 2 reasons alone. The first reason is they lost 2, not 1, 2 games to UCA, not UCLA, UCA, University of Central Arkansas. What the heck is that? The second reason is let's quit that B-roll and let's get this picture up here. What's going on here? Tell me what's going on. Here, Ethan, I'm going to have you hold this picture up while I get a little prop here. Yeah, we're going into the corner of the studio, and I'm getting my own pickle juice.
We're bringing props?
Yeah, you can't be sitting in the dugout. Here, let me bring it.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you see that?
Yeah, let's bring a black and white photo.
She's drinking pickle juice in the dugout. Arkansas, you are out of the tournament. You stink. And if I lose this point, actually, if I win it, this is probably going down the hatchet either way.
Wow.
I mean, you promised I would get pickled in this in the juicer, but I mean, I didn't know you'd actually deliver.
There was a lot of foreshadowing that was going on earlier in the show, and unfortunately, Peter, you have been pickled.
Oh, you've been pickled, baby!
Come on!
In your final appearance, you have won the juicer and enjoyed some pickle juice. Oh, can I have one?
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
Oh, thank you.
Are these keto?
Good enough for me. All right, that'll do it for the juicer. Peter, thank you for joining us. On the other side, it's lax time. Don't go anywhere. No Pulp is back after this.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be. Welcome back.
Go ahead, Spencer.
Dude, I was drinking pickle juice.
Sorry, I was so locked. I thought you were still swallowing.
That's okay. Welcome back to No Pulp. That's Ethan Frank, and I'm Spencer Pierce. And guess what? Now my breath smells a little bit. Well, John Rothstein typically says we sleep in May. Well, if you're a men's lax fan, there's no sleep at all. The top of the rankings is a mess. UVA has lost twice to Duke. Notre Dame hasn't lost to Duke. And UVA is undefeated against Notre Dame. Ethan, what's going on?
It's an old carousel in the ACC. Everyone is beating everyone, Spencer. Not sure what we're going to do about it, but I think
Probably
the most
nothing.
impressive team right now is Duke. Having just seen them standing on the sidelines last weekend, this is a Duke squad that is clicking on all cylinders, really well coached, the winningest coach in the history of college lacrosse. And this is a team that beat Virginia twice. And Virginia is a team that I have the utmost respect for. I know Notre Dame was the #1 team in the country, but right now, if I had to power rank it, I'd go Duke, then Virginia, then Notre Dame, 1, 2, 3. This was a really impressive win by the Cavaliers, now having swept Notre Dame this season. And Duke, having swept Virginia, only losing to Notre Dame once. If you look at all the properties that are in play, obviously all of these teams are very, very evenly matched. But when you think about it, Duke feels like the most impressive team to me with the wins they've accumulated.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that, and I like your ranking there. I think if UVA beats Duke just once this season, they're the best team in the country, but the fact that they lost twice, not great. And can we just take a moment to appreciate, obviously Maryland is in the top 10, right? But there's no Maryland-like team from last year where it kind of felt like it was over from the start.
There's much more parity.
Right, but at the end of the day, it does kind of seem like a three-horse race between these three teams. And like you said, what are we going to do about it? There's not really much you can do about it. Duke's one of the best coached teams in the country. Sorry to your guy, Lars Tiffany, but...
don't disrespect Coach Tiffany on this show.
I'm not disrespecting
It felt like a little disrespect.
No, it wasn't.
Well, you know what? The men's side may be interesting, Spencer, but the drama is hot and heavy in the women's ranks as well. Boston College upset Syracuse one week, then wins the ACC tournament the next week. Should the Eagles be the favorites to win their second title in 3 years? And who do you think secures a bye in the NCAA tournament?
No, they should not be the favorite.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you why. I think it's Northwestern who is the favorite. Obviously, Northwestern came here to the Cuse, lost the first game of the season just by 1 goal. And then let's look at some of their other wins at this point in the season. Beat Stony Brook by 5, beat Michigan by 8, beat UNC by 4, beat Maryland by 7. As the season went along, they started to heat up, and their win margin, like I just said, became completely noticeable. Northwestern already got BC's number once this year. Essentially, dating back to last season, they have Syracuse's number. Syracuse, obviously.
Syracuse did beat them.
Right, but by a goal. That's a toss-up of a game.
Well, winning by a goal counts the same in the win column as winning by 10 goals.
All right, I'll give you that. But I'm saying Northwestern has Syracuse's number, they got BC's number, and Northwestern is your favorite to win.
I still like the Eagles. I mean, you look at this team, the impressive wins they've had. You beat a Syracuse, you beat a North Carolina. It is a group with championship pedigree, a coach with championship pedigree. Boston College is a team that is hot right now. They're peaking at the right time, unlike this Syracuse team, which looks like it may have peaked too early. It's possible Syracuse still gets a bye in the tournament. I think they still get that number 3 seed over a team like North Carolina, who only beat Syracuse that one time. Syracuse beats North Carolina in a true road game. But I like Boston College right now to potentially go all the way.
Lots of Syracuse talk. People forget they might be on the down and down instead of the up and up. Well, hey, coming up, the best part of the show, our plays of the week and our final word. For me, my final word, don't go anywhere.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to No Pulp, where it's almost closing time, but not quite yet. I know Spencer's really excited for his play of the week, but I'm going to do mine first, and that is Dyson Williams. This goal was absurd in Duke's 18-15 win over Syracuse on Saturday. Not only is it cool on TV, but imagine standing on the sideline watching this at field level. Oh wait, yes, that's exactly what I did. Williams has a tremendous skill set that was on display all afternoon as the Blue Devils won their 12th game of the season and got their second win of the year over the Orange this season. An unbelievable play and an unbelievable win for Duke.
All you do is brag, man. Let's get a little humbleness here on the desk. My play of the week comes from the BX, and it's Fordham shortstop Toph Gennaro making an unbelievable catch to make the out. He travels about 1,000 feet over to his right to make the catch in no man's land. Pride of Greenwich High School Cardinals and the Greenwich Cannons. Yeah, you could say the same about me. Roll the tape here. I mean, there's not even a left fielder coming in. Look at that. He sticks his hand up into an ice cold pot of gumbo. Yeah, are you making that catch? I don't even think I'm getting to foul territory.
There's a 0% chance I am making that catch.
Genuinely, I don't think that if I was playing shortstop, I could have even gotten to the foul line before the ball landed.
No, in my very, very brief Little League career, I played third base, and there is no chance I'm making that catch.
No, I think you're selling yourself short a little bit.
My final word is about Matt Shaw, because I haven't gotten to talk about him yet today. No. Actually, I'm just kidding. Well, Matt Shaw becoming the all-time program record holder in Maryland baseball history is awesome. It's not as important to this show as Spencer and our technical director, Matt Fairfax, have been. The two of you have had incredible impacts on me, the producer team, and so many more people at this station. And this show just embodies the two of you in so many different ways. So from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of everyone's hearts, thank you for all you've done for No Pulp, for CitrusTV, and for making this show what it is today. Spencer, I couldn't be happier to be sitting at this desk with you.
Man, that's crazy. You already gave me my thank you, but I really appreciate it, and we've obviously gotten a lot closer because of this show. But I think the real shout out here goes to Matt Fairfax. He is a man that is beyond the word talented. He is one of the nicest people ever, and when you have such a level of talent and you're that nice, you are a very, very special person. Well, let's do my final word here. Oh, look at that.
There he is. There he is.
He's handsome.
Look how cute he looks.
Oh,
He's so happy. He hates when people talk about him. So this is great.
Oh, we're talking about him all right. Look at the shades on in that picture. It's because his future's so bright.
I don't think he was wearing shades.
No, he was wearing shades. Oh. Don't worry about it. Hey, well, my final word. While watching the NFL draft, it struck me how many players must have lost their careers due to injury or other circumstances while playing in college an extra year. I would love to see college football get rid of their 3-year minimum rule and move it down to 2. Listen, the 2021 Georgia Bulldogs, the team that beat Alabama in the championship, has now had every starter from their defense drafted into the NFL. It also happened with the 2016 Alabama defense as well. My point, how many of those guys really needed that extra year? Because all it takes is one wrong play, and a guy that's projected to be in the first round may never touch the field again. It's a sad reality, actually. Let's change these rules around because in college basketball, Ethan, you only have to stay 1 year.
Well, I think
you don't even have to go to college.
I understand that, but I think that's in part because of the physical nature of football, is that your body needs more time to adjust to the sport, especially at the college level. That's why when you look at the NFL, that's why more rookies are ready to play compared to the NBA. It's not. When you look at the NBA draft, the top 10 is mostly going to be players that are extremely effective. But as you get into, the 10s and the 20s of the NBA draft, you're really just taking a swing for the fences that, okay, maybe somebody pans out. In the NFL, players you're drafting in rounds 1, 2, and maybe even 3 are guys that might even start for you on day 1 of their rookie season. It's a much different talent. Well, obviously, you have 22 starting positions in football, and you have 5 positions on the court at a time in basketball. But when you look at it, I think it makes sense to have it at 3 years because of the amount of time you need to be prepared to be coached at such a high level of college football. And also, people just love college football. It's great. That's how you get to know players. That's how you get to know players, is they stay in college for 3 years.
Well, that's a nice monologue. I completely disagree. Take it away, Ethan.
You have no retort to that?
No, I disagree. I already gave you my whole point.
Well,
it was in the teleprompter and everything.
So you have no response to what I said?
No, I think you're a great man with great gratitude and great points, but I disagree with you on this
I appreciate. All right, I guess we'll have to agree to disagree on that one.
So.
As we said before, this is Spencer's final show here at Citrus TV. So Spencer, how about a final handshake here on the
final handshake? Again, like
you're never going to shake anyone's hand again.
Maybe not. I don't know what to do with this now. Should I clean it? Should I
No.
wash it?
It's
your hand.
You can never wash that hand again.
If this was someone else's hand, I think I would be keeping it, whatever. But it's your hand. This might need a little clean, a little rub-a-dub.
You can never wash that hand again. Thank you again to Spencer and Matt Fairfax for everything they've done for Citrus TV and here at No Pulp. All right, that will do it for this edition of No Pulp. For Spencer Pierce, I'm Ethan Frank. Thank you so much for watching. Check us out all over social media at Citrus TV Sports and our YouTube page as well. You can look us up, Citrus TV on YouTube. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great night.
Let's go get some pickle juice, man. Come on, come with me.
All right.